Hi, it's Fazana again. Welcome to another video from the Fazmaths channel. In my video on completing the square with 1x squared, we factorized, solved and sketched the parabola showing the minimum point or the turning point. Please watch that video before watching this one if you're not an expert on this. But let's have a look at one of those examples just to recap. So if you have y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3, and you remember the song, so it's x plus half of that all squared, you're just picking up the numbers, minus half of that squared, and then minus 3. So you'll have x plus 1 all squared, and then minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. Remember, that's not minus 1 squared, it's minus 1 squared, so it'll always be a minus. So from here we can pick up the minimum point. The x coordinate is what value of x would make that 0, so that's minus 1. And the y is as you see it, so it's minus 4. So that would be the minimum point. Okay, and solving it, of course, we make it 0, and then unlike other quadratics, we actually take the number to the other side, so we'll add 4. So we've got x plus 1 all squared equals 4. Then we square root both sides, and we don't need the brackets anymore, so x plus 1 equals, and remember this will be plus or minus the square root of 4, which is 2. And then in order to isolate the x, you minus 1, and you've got x equals minus 1 plus or minus 2. So x equals minus 1 plus 2 is 1, or x equals minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. So remember, the minimum point was minus 1 minus 4, the y-intercept would be minus 3, and the x values are your x-intercept. So if we sketch it, you can tell that's what we've got. You can see the minimum point is minus 1 minus 4. So if you're given this parabola and asked to find the equation of the graph, then you remember that that came from completing the square. So then you just have to change the sign of the x. So you've got x plus 1 squared, and the y will be the minus 4. And when you expand the x plus 1 squared out, and I'll just cheat so I know it's going to be x squared, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, and that's what's attached to the x, and then 1 times 1 is 1, and then you minus your 4. So the equation of this graph is x squared plus 2x minus 3, which you can tell is the same there. Okay, so it's that easy. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so you're given an exam question where you've been given the minimum point of 3 minus 4. Okay, so again, change the sign of the x. So x minus 3 squared minus 4, and we'll expand it out. So you know you've got x squared, and then minus 3 plus minus 3 is minus 6. And then minus 3 times minus 3 is plus 9, and then you've got minus 4. So the equation of this graph is y equals x squared minus 6x plus 5, and that actually agrees with that, so we're okay. Yeah, so remember, change the sign of the x, and y will be as is. Okay, if you have to then find the x-intercepts in case the scales aren't given, then you just go from there equals 0, and then you carry on the steps that I've just shown, and then you'll get the x equals 1 or x equals 5. And then sometimes they'll ask you to find coordinate P, which is the y-intercept, and once you've got your equation, then you know your y-intercept will be 0, 5. Okay, so from a sketch you'll be able to find the turning point and all the points on where the parabola cuts the x and the y-axis. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Okay, so in this case, your minimum point is -2, -4. So you know you're changing the sign of the x. So that's x plus 2 squared and then -4. You expand that out and you get x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 4. So your equation is y equals x squared plus 4x, and the 4 minus 4 disappears. So that would be your equation. Okay, and as you can see, if you ever are asked to factorize this, people get really confused because there isn't a c. So all you can do is just all they have in common is the x, so you go x and then x plus 4 equals 0, and so you can see x is 0 or x is -4. Okay, so if you're ever asked to factorize that, don't get confused because it doesn't look like a normal quadratic form. All right, let's take another example. Okay, minimum point -2, -6. So you've got x plus 2 squared minus 6. And you've got x squared plus 2 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4. And you've got -6. So the equation is y equals x squared plus 4x minus 2. Okay, as easy as that. All right, let's look at something a little different. Okay, over here you can see the parabola isn't actually cutting, passing through the x-axis. So when something doesn't pass through the x-axis, that means it has no roots. Okay, so again, let's change the sign of the x. So we've got x plus 3 squared and then plus 4. So when we expand it out, we'll get x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus 4. So the equation is y equals x squared plus 6x plus 13. Okay, and let's just prove that, yes, we know that it has no roots. So if you're asked to prove it doesn't have any roots, so we'll take the x plus 3 squared plus 4, and then we make it 0. Now you can see you'll be minusing 4 from both sides, so you'll have x plus 3 squared equals -4. But now when you try to square root, you'll have x plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of -4, and you can't actually square root a minus number, a negative number. So you can tell, so that's how you actually prove that because you're not going to get any x values, the curve doesn't have any x-intercepts. Okay, all right. That's all for now. I hope that helped and made you realize that these questions, when you see them in your exam, are quite easy to solve. When you're watching my videos, please always watch the first question really carefully and work it out as I do. For the second question, pause the video and try and work it out before you see my workings. If you get stuck, work with me until you understand. By the third question, you're in control. If you have any questions or need anything clarified, please ask in the comments section below the video, and I'll definitely reply. All right, take care, keep working hard. Until next time, bye.